did not talk over the storm this time.
We did good.
We
We
did
warned
good.
Remy about this.
You actually warned me about it too. I forgot about that. Hey everyone, welcome to Stormwatch. The date line is 2023-07-24, and we are joined today by Matthew Remical, aka Remy. Remy, how's it going?
It's going well. It's a great day on the internet, or I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
We'll see.
and Kimber, how is it going?
You know, it's going good.
Really?
Well, unless you're running Jump Cloud or Avanti.
Uh-oh.
Possibly.
What's going on with those? Because we don't have links for those up now. What's this sounds like it. We were talking before, and like I think I need a permanent "this is fine" section on Stormwatch.
Yeah. I think Monday morning is the perfect day to really dive into the what fresh hell awaits us this week. And
I mean, we have plenty of that. We do have plenty of that. So
everybody is calling this 0-day summer, and
I like it.
Everything gets so spicy before Black Hat. I love it. Remy is suffering though.
Oh yes, I posted in Slack the other day. I was like, yeah, it's O-Day season. It happens every year.
Yeah. Oh, actually, with that, but before you talk about those two, like Remy, like I just assume that everybody watching this like knows who you are and what you do. But like, could you tell us a little bit about like who you are and what you do?
Sure. I am on the detection engineering team here at Gray Noise. I do analysis of network traffic in order to write tags or signatures for malicious, benign, and unknown network traffic to identify behaviors of what's happening on the internet. So that's my day to day.
Remy does a lot more than that, everybody. But that's
the core exposure to like the rest of the community, though. Okay. A lot happens behind the scenes.
Yes, it does. Yes. So Kimber, what's up with these two fresh hell things that we have?
So the rumblings that you're probably going to hear about this week are Mandiant's report on. Well, a lot of people reported on this general idea, but Mandiant came out with the big long article with all the IOCs and stuff of North Korean threat actors leveraging Jump Cloud in supply. This whole like idea of supply chain compromise, etc. So Jump Cloud is basically like using Active Directory identity management across like Mac, Windows, etc. So this little agent can be in the environment, like can be compromised. It's a really good report from Mandiant, but basically I ran the IOCs through Gray Noise, the IP ones anyways, and the domains, and we don't see anything, which makes sense because the primary vector of this was spear phishing. So this is extremely targeted, as we generally see with like nation state actors. They're not blasting, wasting their good shit. So if anybody is running Jump Cloud, that's just a fun little heads up for you. The other one is we're getting rumblings. We're getting the reach outs. Everybody's trying to figure out what's going on with this. Is it Ivanti or Avanti? Do you know, Remy?
I can be wrong very fast, so I'm going to say Avanti.
Yeah, let's go with it. Basically a mobile device management platform. I remember this one from back in the day because it's the software that manages some of the like food kiosk ordering platforms.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So potential pending CVE there. What was the other detail? Oh, it was potential unauthenticated API access. So these are all potentials. And when things are just potentials, that's when there's so much rumbling. So
storm clouds actually do thunder, and then we actually get the lightning, and then we get like the vulnerability rain. Okay.
Yeah. So those are two fun ones.
I just love it when all these security platforms that are supposed to protect us are the things that cause us the most harm. It's just great. Everybody just uninstall everything. Like just take all the security stuff out of your org. It doesn't matter.
If something's in charge of the vast majority of your fleet,
Bob's trying to get rid of my job.
I am, Remy. No, we're going to get different jobs, Remy. Remember, we're going to get different jobs. All right. Well, I didn't tell you all this, and our Overwatch Ashley, I did not tell this too, but I have rebranded our show. So like, let's get into, like I said, today's a Dateline. I hope everyone's cool with this. I actually don't care if you're not. I mean, like you can fire me, I guess. But we are not X Watch. Um, as some very clever folks in our Slack channel this morning pointed out, I believe others on the internet have too. But the richest guy on the planet with like more money than God, couldn't even afford to have a real logo design that is just the Unicode symbol X. There's a bunch of Unicode X's. This is one of the Unicode X's. So I thought I would, I mean, like, because this is what we have right now for Twitter. You destroy the community. Like, we have actual data now to prove that we were all gone. So Twitter's gone. And like, why not follow in the greatness that is Twitter? And anyway, we are not rebranding, of course, but I just thought I'd use that term this one. Wow. So we have a new resource out. Yes, we are going to talk about it. Like, we're going to navel gaze for a couple times this particular episode. One is a really great threat hunting guide. This is not like your average thing that you get from any vendor out there that's just going to say, like, buy our stuff and do this for other stuff thing. This is a bunch of really smart people and me from Gray Noise talking about like actual what threat hunting is, like the history of it, what it means, how to do it, what are the key parts of it. Kimber, you had a big part in this one too. Like this was I enjoyed being able to write a sort of a think piece and go through the history of this and there. How was your experience with this one?
This was I really enjoyed this because threat hunting has evolved as a term so much in the past 2 years. I remember being hired as a threat hunter for a contract gig and just like thinking that it was the most cheesy thing ever back in, I think, 2018 or 2019. And I was like, there's no way this will be a job role that people can have. It just sounds too cool. Like, threat hunter, really? And now here we are, teaching people how to do it.
The one thing that I will share from this, and then like we can move on to like actual real things people care about, is I had maybe unironically or just by default, there's a future of threat hunting section because of course there's, right, we have to do that, and so I put my thinking up on us, and I dropped in the, oh well, of course we're gonna have AI for threat hunting, even, and that was like we started writing this months ago, and then so that was like a month or two ago. And then about a week before it was going into the edits and Ashley was doing her magic on it, there actually is now an AI threat hunting platform. I forget who put it out, but so I got the link to it in there. So the future is now, I guess. So maybe it isn't the future. It is the present of threat hunting. I don't know, but AI is going to be everywhere. It's great. So this is a great book. It's available now. Just kind of go there, give us your email so that we can nicely reach out to you to tell you about all the new cool things we're doing, and let us know what you think about it. Be glad to hear.
Yeah, and I will even throw out there that if you are interested in using our IP timeline or IP similarity for threat hunting research, just reach out directly to me or hit up sales@graynoise.io and they will put you in contact with me, because I would love for somebody threat hunting specific to really dig into that stuff and find something cool, because we have.
Yeah. It has been an incredible tool.
Yeah, the IP similarity alone is great because it's actually helped a couple orgs I know already find other things as a result of like going after the one thing that they saw. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna kick into it big time. So I am now asking everyone to not. Let me repeat this: for whatever you do not patch Cold Fusion, and do not patch your Citrix ADC servers. Because I mean, think about it. If you don't, you get ransomware and extorted. Your org goes out of business, and then you get a vacation. Like I mean, everybody out there, you all need some time off. No, I mean, so I'm tongue in cheek. I'm just tired of telling people to patch because no one does. And I know all the reasons why, but still. So hopefully maybe doing this reverse psychology will get everyone to patch. I have no idea, but these are really, really important. So important that we wrote a blog and tags. Remy, before I go through some of the specific ones, do you want to talk about these in a little bit?
Sure. So the Cold Fusion ones, there is a authentication bypass, security bypass, allowing access to the login page and extended features There's a second Cold Fusion vulnerability related to deserialization, leading to remote code execution. That was quite a bit more dangerous. And that is the one that I believe that we saw hit either late last week or over the weekend.
Yep.
We've also got the Citrix ADC remote code execution, which has been slowly but surely ramping up over the past few weeks. Rough timeline, July 18th, Citrix releases an advisory related to, unauthenticated remote code execution, CVSS score of 9.8. So way up there. We did some collaboration with Bishop Fox capability development team, and as of July 18th at 11 p.m., we had Sigaport crash related to memory corruption, and that enabled us to write a tag on July 20th. July 19th, Rapid7 released some analysis calling out the potential of SAML parser as a likely culprit on their Attack KB article. July 21st, AssetNote followed up on that Rapid7 research and identified a post request to the SAML login path. And they were able to prove that there is a vulnerability there, but it's limited. So they're able to cause a crash, but they weren't able to figure out chain for remote code execution. And as part of that, they wrote a fingerprinting module, which is actually really, really cool. I'm excited about this.
Cool.
They're leveraging part of a vulnerability as an error-based oracle, because the error is only triggered in unpatched versions. So rather than using like last modified for timestamp to determine whether an instance is vulnerable, they actually took something that they weren't able to chain for remote code execution in order to fingerprint whether something would be vulnerable to something else patched in the same version. So I'm really excited about that. And then July 21st, Bishop Fox released a blog with a video POC demonstrating, they completed the chain. They were able to weaponize it. They specifically mentioned that the VPX version is compiled without position independent executable, and it has an executable stack, and there is no stack canary. So for those of you that don't understand those terms, basically that means, while this is memory corruption and this stuff is typically out of the realm of script kiddies, it does move the needle significantly further towards, once you have this can be easily weaponized.
And like Citrix itself used in a lot of very important environments, like healthcare. Really sticks out to me as somewhere where like it's bad to see a 9.8 in this area.
Large fleets. Last two notes. July 21st, Mandiant, now part of Google Cloud, shares some IOCs of compromised appliances. They call out several different IOCs for post-exploitation behavior. They call out a post request used in the initial exploitation and the presence of pwd, which is Linux command for parent working directory. So that seems more similar to the SAML bypass. And as of this morning, AssetNote published part 2 identifying a separate vulnerability, which is a GET request, which is the same one that Bishop Fox's capability team shared with us. So we actually have 2 vulnerabilities. One, which is the actual, will the real Citrix RC please stand up? We've got CVE 2023-3519. The one that Bishop Fox has identified and now AssetNote has identified is a GET request, but the one originally identified by AssetNote and Rapid7 is a post request involving SAML, which is more similar to the IOCs identified by Mandiant. But we only have one CVE called out at a security notice for remote code execution. So this is going to be a fun week, very fun week.
Man.
I just think it'd be great if like Citrix could just put some pants on their devices, like, because they're just not wearing pants anymore. Like, this is just, I don't know what's going on. This seems like a really bad, like, there's gonna be many weeks of this. It just feels like, unless they do something to really patch it well, and I don't know if that's actually gonna happen. And to Kimber's point, the other, and actually, well, not to Kimber, but like all the scanners have found like the usual Citrix stuff on the internet, but like there's a lot of Citrix not on the internet. It's behind the VPNs, which again aren't the greatest protection devices anymore, but they're inside a lot, and healthcare tends to get ransomware internally by phishing, then getting inside to do that. So It doesn't matter whether you have these things on the internet or not. Please take my reverse psychology and do patch these things if you haven't already. And you can use us to actually maybe get some, to buy some time blocking some things before then. But we're not seeing like these are a bunch of the tags. We have links to all these out there. Cold Fusion and Netscaler on there. We also have a new benign actor and a new Cisco one. We're not going to talk about the Cisco one today. As Remy mentioned, the Cold Fusion, we did see a ping. We're not seeing anymore. Go back to, we'll probably say this almost every time, but like generally speaking, we don't see a lot of inventory scans for things anymore because they do them. They know they're on corporate networks and they kind of scan those and then they re-up the inventory scans on a much less frequent basis than they used to. So we will see some. We just don't see some right now. This is that IP address. It's a bad IP address. So if you want to actually go do the whole, you just got the entire walkthrough for one of these cases for Greynoise. So definitely take a look at that. And if you just block this IP address outright, it's from DigitalOcean, which is the armpit of the internet. So like maybe just block all DigitalOcean if you can. I'm not digging into this one. I wanted to make a note that if you orgs saw like a bunch of like extra spikes to all of your web properties out there, do not let your marketing department say, "Ooh, we got more traffic. We got people care about us." No, they don't. So someone's just crawling a bunch of stuff on the internet. And there's a bunch of random URLs that isn't all the same ones. So, and a lot of it's just slash. So just want to like, you calm your marketing departments down, and there's probably nothing going on with this one, but there is something going on with this one, and I'm going to tap Remy into this one. This was a fun day on the 18th for us because this is almost 90,000, 83,000 IP addresses hitting us.
Gets me so hype about internet noise.
Yeah.
Which sounds like the nerdiest thing ever. But like
no, it's cool because like this is where most of it came from. And I don't normally do like these feature maps. But like these are residential, the vast majority are residential IP addresses from across the U.S. And Remy, you want to talk a little bit about this while I have a fun graphic? Actually, you know what? I'm going to take the graphic off because I want to see you.
Sure. So I, as y'all know, I was working on Citrix, and I was trying so hard to get NerdSlapped, and Bob is posting these awesome graphics. So I did time box a short period of time to kind of look into this. That large spike that you saw, I think, was around 80,000. We did some analysis looking into it, and it appeared to largely be targeting servers in Ukraine, largely trying to fingerprint active users from WordPress instances. But the source IPs and how they managed to have so many different source IPs was the particularly interesting part. There are many platforms that allow you to make web requests or tunnel traffic through residential proxies. Some of these in the past have been like Bright Data, Luminati.io, which there is a large history there. But this particular one, in a lot of the requests that we found, we actually found hop by hop headers. So when you're traversing through a proxy, headers are added to tag traffic that came through a proxy. And within those, we were able to identify the user and the platform that they were leveraging in order to do this scanning through the platform.
Which is a residential proxy platform.
Yes.
It is. So we were able to roughly estimate how much money this person spent, at least in the time that we observed them. It was in the hundreds. And they spent pretty significant effort and money, and we have their username, and we contacted the platform. And while they have not responded at this time, the platform being netnut.io, we've contacted their platform, and while they gave me a support ticket number, they've not responded to me about that. But they're trying really, really hard to sell me on products. They've responded 3 times asking what I need to buy. So that's where we're at right now. Very, very large thing to untangle. I'm looking forward to that this week. At the very least, identifying a network of residential proxies, which can be leveraged for malicious traffic.
We have
or good traffic, or good traffic.
I mean, part of these networks, there are benign uses for them. Part of these networks are the ability to do geographic-based requests and keep your flight, your airline tickets prices low. They leverage them for those too. So.
But before, because I want to hear what you have to say, Kimber. So while there are benign uses, just remember anyone that is, because like the way this works is like you give part of your internet to this company and then they use it like this, which means you get some money or you get some stuff as a result of it. And some of the stuff that you also got, if you are using this particular one or you are a member of this botnet, because that's kind of what it is you just attacked Ukraine. So maybe don't actually do this. Yeah, even if you need a couple extra bucks, like I don't know, there's other ways. Like you don't need to do this because it actually tends to be used for more malicious stuff than non-malicious stuff. So, Kim, what were you going to say? Sorry.
The very interesting thing about this was all of the different ASNs. Yeah, there were a lot of residential things in there, but one of the very interesting things that I found was like some things that were not residential internet, like the utility company ASN that was in that
Jackson
blog.
Energy.
Yeah, Jackson Energy.
I keep seeing that name pop up the past week.
So
I don't like it.
Well, a couple things with that though. Like, so some of those are co-ops, and those co-ops also run internet to homes. So it's like there is dual use for some of those.
But it's just like I would. It's surprising to find out that like, because you can look up them on like Whois and all of that and see all the websites that are hosted on those ASNs, and it's just like you're exposing yourself to so much not so great stuff.
Yeah.
Presumably on some of the same infrastructure networking wise that, you know, who knows, utility stuff is on.
Just things, the grid, you know, the power grid for the US, just little things like that. The one thing I saw, there were a number of like legit mobile networks in that too. Like, it wasn't a ton, but there was a number of them, and I'm like, who is giving up their mobile bandwidth, their precious mobile bandwidth for this particular service? It was kind of insane.
I did a lot of research back in the day when I was working for a retail organization about these proxy, like Android app based proxies. Okay. So people would hop on those. It's just like an always on, it's kind of a fake proxy to watch Netflix on like free Wi-Fi.
Oh, gotcha.
So I when I first saw this, I wondered if it was some of that same infrastructure being used, like the Android app based proxy stuff. But it looks to be like the way that this provider NetNut functions is a bit different.
Just a little.
If you do like a Google search for like, how do I monetize my Google Chrome extension or my Android app without using ads? Like they have entire SDKs where it's like, you just drop it in and we just monetize your users' traffic and don't tell them about it. It's in the disclaimer.
Yeah. This was such an important one to find though, especially on such a large scale, because we have had customers or potential customers ask, you know, like, does Gray Noise see traffic that's routed through proxies? And now we can definitively say yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So
we also have a really good map of. I'll say map. Like we have a real map, not just this thing, this pew map. But we actually have a really good mapping of what are actual residential ISPs versus business ISPs, which is a harder thing to track down sometimes. I know leases and all that kind of stuff, but we now have the potential to better tagging of what is a residential ISP proxy versus just this is a VPN or this is a proxy kind of thing now. So this is pretty cool. I
like those dark areas. I might find, you know, a nice little cabin in those dark areas.
Yeah, the one up by me, like there's that we are looking for land in those dark areas where there's no humans at all, if possible.
No humans, no internet.
So since I haven't asked anyone to ever patch this before, so on the horizon for this week, we got a couple things on Friday. Yay, I love Fridays so much in cyber. At least I don't have to do the response anymore for these ones. But Metabase, really popular kind of data science-y business intelligence platform out there. That I am asking everyone to go take a look at this advisory. There's no CVE yet because they were proactive and they're not waiting for all that stuff to happen. I was really proud of Metabase for doing that. And I can say that we are practicing what we preach because we have patched Metabase at Gray Noise. So if we can do it with our very tiny team of we have two awesome folks that do a great job. If they can do that with all the other stuff they have to do, y'all can do that.
I believe the phrase "Wow, that took 1 minute to do the upgrade" was put in Slack. 1 minute took 1 minute.
It's pretty cool. And the other one that Remy also caught Friday before the end of the day, there's yet another series of Atlassian Confluence patches. These are those we're going to be poking at them and hopefully have some tags that make sense if it's possible for us to see that traffic as well. Oh, I went to the end for some reason.
Can I quickly talk about that real
Yeah,
quick?
I hit the wrong key. Yeah, go for it.
So there are 2 Confluence remote code execution vulnerabilities and 1 in Bamboo. If I remember correctly, these are all authenticated, but from the previous last Confluence remote code execution vulnerability, there was another vulnerability. I believe it was Confluence for Questions add-on, which part of it was a default privileged user with default credentials that happened in between the previous remote code execution and this remote code execution, which is authenticated. So if you're somewhere within that patch diff, the fact that it's authenticated may not be a particularly great protection if you also have that add-on enabled.
Yep. Wow.
Chaining vulns, yay!
Everyone's gonna be really busy the rest of the summer. I think at least we haven't had like the spate of Exchange, takeovers this year. Like fingers crossed. Wow. So this is a big one. I get lots of logos, lots of purple, lots of. I don't even know what that blue color is. Teal.
It's vibes. Cyber vibes.
Yeah, very, very, very modern cyber vibes. We talked about Noise Fest last week, but I don't think we really talked about the Noise Fest CTF. Which one of you all would like to talk about the Capture the Flag we got going on?
I'll intro it and then Remy can talk about some of the fun parts of it. So one of the things that we're doing with our sensor fleet, obviously we got to evolve, we got to keep up, we got to do all the cool things. So we're moving from a more static capture format to a more dynamic capture format. And obviously PCAPs, everybody wants PCAPs. PCAPs or it did not happen is my motto and a lot of other people on the internet's motto. So we wanted to show that off, just really dive into that idea, really step out as like helping. One of our missions is to help detection engineering be better. So we're sharing PCAP. And this is a PCAP based capture the flag. Capture the flag is where you have files or servers that you get prompts, or you want to find a certain piece of the data. The piece of the data is the flag. So what we're going to have is a bunch of different PCAP files. We have prompts. They are based on gray noise tags, and you trawl through those PCAPs and try and find the data that we think you'll find. Is this just like, I don't know, Remy, what do you think? Like an interesting function of the data, or it was stuff that we had a lot of fun reversing and figuring out?
We took some samples of I think we did like our 2022 year review, a lot of those exploits. So we've got a large variety, but some of the more fun ones that we have in there is like we really tried to make it so that despite there being really well-equipped tools like Wireshark for analyzing PCAP, even though some of the challenges are a single packet, we demonstrate that like you still need some flexibility within Wireshark where the answer isn't immediately apparent. You need to be able to do more than just open a PCAP and look at it. You need to understand kind of what you're looking at. So I'm really excited for a lot of these challenges, because even the easier ones in the Capture the Flag are going to make you kind of learn different pieces of Wireshark. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm super excited. And honestly, if you have never touched a PCAP before and you just want to open something in Wireshark and see what's up, we included, a couple more easy things. So don't be afraid to hop in. And if you look at PCAPs every day and you're like, there's no way gray noise could best me, bring it. Let's see.
I bested myself a few times this past week.
There were a couple I was staring at and I was just like, oh no. Like waiting for the walkthrough, like very painfully.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I'm really appreciating about the way that we're doing this is that we have made it accessible to everyone pretty much. Like even if you've never done this before, this will be a great entry level and on ramp to doing this kind of work. And hopefully, we'll be giving folks more opportunities to play with these PCAPs in a more official capacity over the next couple of months, as everyone heard last time.
So Noise Fest itself is an event on the 10th in Vegas that you request an invite to. There's limited space, so we'll send you an approval, all of that. But the CTF is the 7th to the 14th, I believe. It's that Monday. It is all virtual. So you do not have to be on site to participate. You can play around with it that whole week, and the winner gets a prize. I'll say the top 3 get a prize. How about that?
That's cool.
Yeah,
I'm on board. And the platform is really nice. That CTF platform is really, really nice. So it's that is also pretty accessible, and I think everyone will enjoy going to that. It's been pretty cool. If it's felt like it's been a bad year so far, it has. And like I didn't have to change this slide from the last time. I think there's going to be a cat release every Friday for the time, so I might never change this slide again because it's going to always be 4 days as long as we do it on a Monday. And it has been a bad couple of years. This is the Kev growth CISA. So for the folks that if you don't know what CISA Kev and you've been this far into this, like, God bless you. But like, it's the known exploited vulnerabilities catalog of CISA, which is the DHS department that deals with this kind of stuff on our side of this. And they have a bunch of rules that they apply to be able to say, hey, this vuln is being exploited in the wild, and you can read all about that. Some of the early spikes you see there, some of the jumps that are early on in there have to deal with CISA trying to make sure that everybody was covered for known things firing against Ukraine and the allies that are associated with that. It's been a fairly steady, drumbeat of things. And like, this doesn't really give you an idea what the year has been like. So I just wanted to give folks an idea. If you thought this year was a punishing year, it's a pretty punishing year. We've had nice jumps of ones as well, and they have nothing to do with Ukraine directly or anything like that. Just it's been a lot of vulnerabilities this year across a ton of technologies and platforms. So just we feel you. Some of us had to feel this pain directly before, and Remy gets to feel it now too when and the team when they write tags. So
what do you think this is attributed to, Bob?
So it's a great question. And I have spent a little bit of time thinking about that. So I think one of them is we have. So, and this goes back to something that I've also been saying in different channels, the hype around, we don't have enough cyber people to fill cyber jobs. I've been calling BS on that for a couple of years. I think that's just the way for ISC Squared to try to get more membership. And for some pundits to have something to say in magazines and on the like. But I actually think there's been a growth of folks looking at vulnerabilities, and also people getting better at looking for vulnerabilities and digging into vulnerabilities. I know you two are part of communities directly associated with that people like are actually going after those ones. And I have been impressed with the talent associated with that too. Like, folks are doing an amazing job digging into software that needs protecting and finding things so that we can protect them. Unfortunately, I wish the organizations that make those pieces of software and devices would maybe spend a little more of their own time doing that and not waiting for other people to do that work. And I think part of it's also that, like, you've heard some familiar names today, right? You've heard Citrix and you've heard Confluence and you've heard Cold Fusion. I can't believe people still use Cold Fusion. And you've heard routers from the previous ones as well too. And so all this is just familiar technology that everyone knows is vulnerable, and that everyone knows these organizations do not do a good job patching. So they focus on them because they want to help the people that run them not get compromised by an attacker 0-day that's out there. So I think that's part of it. I also think that CISA is doing a much better job than I expected them to do, tracking these things and getting communication lines into them and then having communication lines back out. They've been hiring. CISA has been hiring some extremely great talent, and I think they're doing a fine job when it comes to broadcasting this out there. I just wish we did a better job on the reverse side of this, being able to collect all the cool incident and breach data that's in a way that we do with, like, car crashes and airplane crashes, and do that. So that's my take on it. I'm wondering what you guys think about it.
I know, quite a few of the ISACs, the information sharing groups that I'm in, they'll often open their meetings with, here's the CISA recap, and here's the softwares that we use. And it's kind of a conversation, like, wholly of like, are people still using these things? Like, are these alerts like relevant? And, largely they are. So I think just people are actually using that data and using it as a resource. And it's, I I agree on it needs a little more confirmation, like, of the exploitation. That's what I want. That's still what I want.
And Remy, like I know you really you talk to a lot of folks that are in this exploit development, vulnerability research space. Have you seen a lot of growth in that, or am I just insane and crazy as usual?
No, you've definitely seen a lot of growth. Probably the most notable thing to me is, like when I was first getting started in this industry, it was a lot of, just proof of concepts, and you have a comment at the top of the script. It's like, it should do this. But like as it's evolved, like detailed write-ups and explanations of, like, even if they don't achieve their end goal, they're like, this is how I made it this far into reverse engineering this firmware. The core building blocks that have really allowed us to stand on the shoulders of giants over the years, like the people from Attacker KB, like I read those all the time coming into this industry, like fundamentals. But the information sharing when it comes to like research and how to approach a problem for identifying stuff has really changed over the years. Specific to like CISA, I don't think CISA's ever actually shared proof of concept before, but they're focusing more on the detection, the in-depth stuff of post-exploitation. Like, sure, you can throw an exploit, but like, how do you determine and root that stuff back out? Who do you contact? And they, by all accounts, I think that they are making a net positive benefit. I honestly couldn't be happier, because we can all have criticisms about CISA. Anything in the world can be done better. But the truth is that by all accounts, they're making a net positive impact. And the research space, the information sharing, it has improved over the years. I'm quite optimistic about the future of security. It's getting easier, the turnaround, and breaking down those barriers of information sharing, not only from like getting exploitation and that core research, like how do we identify these problems, to how do we root them back out once they've already occurred. Everyone in the industry uses Kev. Like whether you like to or not, it is a core aspect of the industry right now, and I'm extremely happy for it. I think it's great.
Yeah, and major props to them last week for the Citrix one, because they came clean about the government, like the U.S. government agencies getting compromised with this, and that's, I mean, like non-government organizations aren't great at that. Like usually we hear about it because like they're down for like days or whatever, or the ransomware stuff appears on a ransomware thing. So like props to CISA for coming saying, hey, yes, this happened to us. Please protect all your stuff. This is how you go do that. It's just that is I've been doing this for a lot longer than both of you probably combined, and I've never seen that kind of open sharing from the government like that before. So I am thrilled that we're getting to this point and having a better collaboration. Again, I just wish we had it on the breach and
what is it? August 9th is the deadline they set. CISA set a deadline.
Yeah.
Government systems for Citrix have to be passed by August 9th.
Well, and
just in time for DEF CON.
Well, and the department CISOs get graded on that. Like that is actually part of their requirement. Like, so it's a major deal. Like this isn't just a checkbox exercise for them.
And they can enforce it.
Yeah. And so do the same thing in your orgs, everybody. So lastly, but not leastly, so Brett was gracious enough to say yes to my insane request to come on next week. Brett Callow, again, Emisoft, amazing researcher, does a lot of work, again, like looking on the endpoint side of things and the actual incident side of things. And as I mentioned, MOVEit's pretty destructive, and it still is destructing like crazy. So Brett's going to give us a lot of details on that next week. And he's on like the Pacific time, so he's going to be joining really early. So everyone be really nice to him next week, okay?
Cool.
All right, any parting shots, anybody?
Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday.
Happy last full week of July, everybody.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ominous. Yeah. Cool. Well, Remy, if you have something, go for it, Kimber. Otherwise, I'm gonna.
No, that's it. Just pay attention.
Yeah, stay alert.
I'm trying.
Do your best. We
Remy,
believe in you.
Thank you for taking 45 minutes away from the normal stuff that you do to come onto this. So I appreciate everything. Hopefully we'll get you back on. Kimber, as always, thank you for joining me. And unfortunately, everybody, Glenn is back next Monday. So I'm sorry to say that now. Yeah, well, I mean, maybe. Like, I still have another week to get the shark thing going, but I don't think it's going to work. So Cool. Well, have a great week, everybody.